After winning a championship in 2024, the Boston Celtics looked like the next dynasty, until sadly, Jayson Tatum ruptured his Achilles in the playoffs. Now with Tatum sidelined for the 25-26 season, we're rebuilding the Celtics in NBA 2K26 to see if we can win another championship after Tatum's return. The Boston Celtics made a lot of questionable moves this offseason, one of them being trading away Kristaps Porzingis for George Niang in a second-round pick, which made absolutely no sense. The second was trading Jrue Holiday for Anthony Simons. I do like Simons' offensive game, but he has zero defense at all, and he can't really be a starting point guard on a championship team. And Peyton Pritchard is more of a sixth man in my opinion than a starting point guard, so at this moment we're lacking in that point guard position pretty big. But luckily we still have Jaylen Brown, Derek White, who are two amazing players, and they're going to remain a part of this rotation. And this is what the rotation's looking like, but for this first season I am planning on tanking, and that is because we have our 2026 first round pick. That means we can get ourselves a lottery pick. And of course, with Jayson Tatum being injured for this whole season, might as well take advantage of this first round pick that we have. It's unprotected, and get ourselves a good rookie in the 2026 NBA draft. We can get someone like Cam Boozer. We do need a new big man, so having Cam Boozer as our starting center would be absolutely amazing. We can get AJ DeBonsa. There's a lot of good players here that we can get to hopefully help us win next season once Jayson Tatum returns. As of right now, this is what the rotation will be looking like. We have Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Xavier Tillman, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Anthony Simons, Sam Hauser, Chris Boucher, Luka Garza, and Josh Minott. So I'm going to start simulating, lose as many games as possible, and I'll see you guys at the end of season number 1. Anthony Simons is open to sign extension with our team, and I'm going to go ahead and give him a contract because right now he's on an expiring contract and we want to use him and his contract for trade this off season. So I'm going to go ahead and offer him a $25 million contract, 2 years, $50 million. Again, it's a big contract. That way we could use his contract to bring in a good player. And he accepts, which means we'll be able to trade him this off season. This is an interesting trade offer we have from the Orlando Magic. They want to send us Desmond Bane for Anthony Simons and Xavier Tillman. At this point, I am going to be rejecting this offer, and that's because I want a point guard in return for Anthony Simons or a new big man. And Desmond Bane's a shooting guard. We already have Derek White at the shooting guard position, so it doesn't really make sense getting ourselves Desmond Bane. So sadly, we're going to have to decline this offer and continue tanking. At the end of this season, Victor Wembanyama goes on to win his first MVP, 25, 12, and 4. Cooper Flag wins Rookie of the Year, Malik Monk 6th Man of the Year, Wemby also wins Defensive Player, Khalil Ware Most Improved, Ja Morant Clutch Player, Jason Kidd Coach, and the Cleveland Cavaliers get Executive of the Year. Here are your awards for this season. None of our players will be here. We were tanking and we did perfect at tanking, and I'll show you guys what our record was this season. We won a total of 22 games and lost 60. I believe we were the number 14 seed, which is exactly what we needed to get ourselves a top pick in this coming NBA draft. We were the third worst team in the entire NBA, so we should be projected to get the third overall pick. Let's go ahead and simulate the playoffs and see who wins the championship. And it's the Timberwolves versus the Knicks, and the Knicks go on to win a championship with Karl Anthony Towns winning Finals MVP. Player retirements: LeBron James is retiring, a few more players are retiring. I'm going to overturn some retirements like Russell Westbrook, and then we'll get ready for the 2026 NBA draft. Another huge player that I forgot to mention that the Celtics lost this past offseason was Al Horford, and he was a big piece for the Boston Celtics for many years, and losing him is huge as well, and he decides to retire. LeBron James is of course in the Hall of Fame. Here are your jersey retirements. league meetings, we'll go ahead and reject everything here. And now it's time for the 2026 NBA draft lottery. I hope we get a top 3 pick. That's what I'm hoping for. And we're projected to get the 2nd overall pick, and that would be amazing. I really hope we don't fall down below 2 because that would suck. The top 3 pick would be amazing. Let's see what happens. And we fall all the way to pick 6, of course. And that really sucks because the Rockets are already a really good team, and them getting the 2nd overall pick is insane. But sadly, we fall from 2 all the way to 6, and I really hope we can still get ourselves a good player with the 6th overall pick. Perhaps we could try moving up in the 2026 draft, and I think that's what I'm going to try doing. I really want Cam Boozer on our team, but I don't think we're going to be able to get him because he's projected to go number 1 in 2K rank and SN rank. The Charlotte Hornets have the 3rd overall pick. Let's see if we can trade up to the 3rd overall pick. That would be pretty cool if possible, but I highly doubt they're going to accept this trade. Let's offer them Luka Garza and our 1st round pick, and they still decline. What if we throw in Josh? And we can't because he has a team option, which kind of sucks. And Hugo Gonzalez, I don't want to trade in case he ends up progressing into a good player. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be having to stay with our 6th overall pick unless we throw in a few seconds and get this done. Let's see if we can. Whoa, our 2027 1st round pick is 2.5 stars. And I think if we trade both of these picks here, we can maybe even get the 1st or 2nd overall pick. Cam Boozer is projected to go number 1. I just checked the mock drafts, and the New Orleans Pelicans have the 1st overall pick. So I'm going to try acquiring this 1st overall pick from them. Let's go ahead and offer them our 2027 1st round pick and this year's 1st round pick. And hopefully they accept, but they do not. They do decline. Let's throw in Luka Garza. They still decline. What if we throw in a few 2nd rounders? Okay, so this trade sadly, okay, it gets done. We throw in a few 2nd round picks, and just like that, we end up with the 1st overall pick. And just like that, we're going to be getting ourselves Cam Boozer. Again, he was projected to go number 1, which is a big reason why I traded up for the Pelicans pick. I really want him on our team to be our starting center. He can space the floor, he's a good defender, and yeah, he would be the amazing starting center, which we badly need at this time. So let's go ahead and go to the NBA draft and select with our 1st overall pick. Whoa, Darren Peterson is a higher overall than Cam Boozer, but of course we are going to stay with Cam Boozer and bring him on our team. And that's it for the 2026 draft. Well, actually, let's see who the next 2 teams pick. So the Rockets have the 2nd overall pick, and they take Mikel Brown Jr. Okay, they take a point guard. The Hornets have the 3rd overall pick, and they take AJ DeBonsta. That's going to be an insane duo, a trio of AJ DeBonsta, LaMelo Ball, and Brandon Miller. But now, let's see what moves we can make this offseason to upgrade our roster. And by the way, Tatum is back, his injury is gone, and hopefully we can win ourselves a championship this coming season with him, Brown, White, and our newly acquired, where is he? There he is, Cam Boozer. Team player options, I am going to pick up the team option on this dude right here and on Baylor. I hope Baylor can progress. I'm not sure if he progresses much, but we are going to pick up the team option on both of them anyways. Qualifying offers, we don't have to bring back anyone in free agency, luckily, so Jordan Walsh, and yeah, we don't need any of those players, but let's see how much money we have. And we do have around $6 million we can spend in free agency, which means we should be able to sign a decent player. Like there's Malik Beasley, who's one of the best 3-point shooters. There's Ayo Dosunmu, Kelly Oubre, Harrison Barnes, Brook Lopez, Mitchell Robinson. So there's a lot of good players we can sign in free agency. And don't forget, we're also going to be trading away Anthony Simons. So in this free agency, there's 2 players I really want on our team, one of them being Malik Beasley, so we're going to offer him a 2-year contract, which hopefully he accepts. The second being Mitchell Robinson. He can either be the backup center behind Cam Boozer, or he could start if Cam Boozer is struggling in his rookie season. So let's go ahead and offer Mitchell Robinson a 2-year, around $10 million contract, and both Malik Beasley and Mitchell Robinson will be accepting, which means we have 2 really good players coming off of our bench. I'm also going to go ahead and offer Matisse Thybulle a contract. He's one of the best defensive players in the league, and having him off of our bench will definitely help with our defense. We also need a backup power forward behind Tatum, so let me see which type of power forward we could bring off of our bench. Justin Champagnie would be a pretty good player. He does have a really low overall, even though in real life he's a pretty good player. We're shooting around 40% from the 3-point line, 38%. He's a good rebounder, can score, and he's a decent defender. But we're also going to offer Harrison Barnes a contract. He's a really good offensive player. Harrison Barnes accepts, and Matisse Thybulle and Justin Champagnie accept as well. And now it's time to trade away Anthony Simons. The Cleveland Cavaliers are offering us Darius Garland for Anthony Simons, Sam Hauser, and Harrison Barnes. And of course, we're going to be pulling off this trade. Darius Garland's one of the best point guards in the NBA. He shot the ball amazing this past season, 48% from 3, and he's a really good playmaker. We don't have a good playmaking point guard on this team as of right now, but now we do after we pulled off that trade. We're definitely back in championship contention with additions of Darius Garland and Cam Boozer on this team. Of course, Jayson Tatum is finally back from his injury as well, which is going to be the biggest factor for this season. We got Malik Beasley, one of the best three-point shooters, Matisse Thybulle, one of the best defensive players, and Mitchell Robinson, an amazing big man defensive rim protector. We are going to be starting Mitchell Robinson over Cam Boozer for this first season, but they will be both playing 24 minutes per game. Let's go ahead and start simulating the first few games and see how we do. So game 1, we do lose by a single point against the Dallas Mavericks, sadly, but of course, chemistry still needs to be built in our team. We do win game 2 against the Charlotte Hornets. Tatum nearly had a triple-double. Brown had 29. Garland is playing amazing already, 8 assists, 21 points. White with 18, Cam Boozer with 12, 9, and 5, as well as 2 steals and 4 blocks. If Cam Boozer continues progressing, he can become an amazing player that can space the floor, is an amazing defender, and can score at a high level. But now I'm going to continue simulating. Hopefully we make the play. Well, we're going to make the playoffs. That's no doubt. We have Jayson Tatum back. But hopefully we can go on to win a championship. I'll simulate until the end of this season. But if there's trades to be made, I'll stop at the trade deadline to show y'all. Also, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new for more 2K26 rebuilds. Peyton Pritchard is a player who's open to sign a contract extension with our team, so of course we're going to go ahead and offer him a 2-year contract. Right now he's being paid around $7.7 million, and we'll do the same and give him $7.75 annually on a 2-year contract, and he accepts. At the end of this season, Anthony Edwards goes on to win MVP, his first MVP, averaging 33 points per game. Darren Peterson wins Rookie of the Year, Josh Giddey 6th Man of the Year, Wemby wins another Defensive Player, Rob Dillingham Most Improved, Ja wins Clutch, Jason Kidd Coach of the Year, and the Timberwolves win Executive of the Year. And we don't get Jayson Tatum on All-NBA First Team, which is a surprise because he was in the race to winning MVP, but we do get him on All-NBA Second Team. And that's going to be it for All-NBA awards. What about All-Defensive? We don't get anyone here. We do get Cam Boozer on All-Rookie First Team. He had an amazing season, which I'll show you guys here in a second. We ended the season being the number 2 seed, and in round 1, we're going to be taking on the Detroit Pistons. We won a total of 54 games and lost only 28, so we were tied for the first seed with the New York Knicks. They also won 54 games, and so did we. Let me show you guys the player stats before we start simulating here in the playoffs. And a lot of our players had amazing seasons. Jayson Tatum was averaging 30 points per game, almost 8 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 50, 40, 85. Jaylen Brown, 20 points per game. He didn't score as much, but that's because we have a lot of offensive power on our team at this moment. Darius Garland, amazing get for our team. 19 points per game, 7 assists per game, so now we finally have a playmaking point guard. And he also shot 50, 40, 90, basically 90% from the free throw line. 16 points per game from Derek White, amazing season. Pritchard with 12 points per game off the bench. Cam Boozer was absolutely amazing in his rookie season as the backup center, averaging 10 points per game, 6.5 rebounds. He's a good playmaker for a big man as well. 3 assists per game, 1 steal, 1.5 block, shooting 49% from the field and 38% from the three-point line, all in 25 minutes per game. So next season, as long as he progresses, he's going to be the perfect starting center to have on the Boston Celtics. The Celtics have always had a floor spacing big man until they traded away Porzingis, and we finally get one once again with Cam Boozer. And the rest of the guys were amazing as well, but now it's time to start simulating the playoffs, and in round 1 we're taking on the Pistons, who have Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, and Jalen Duren, and this is their bench unit. Let me fix up the player minutes, and then hopefully we can go on to win a championship. The player minutes have been fixed. Now it's time to jump in round number 1. Let's see what happens here. Game number 1, we do end up winning. Jaylen Brown drops 36, Garland with 31, Tatum 27, Boozer with 15. Game number 2 is also a win for us. Brown with another 30-piece game, 28 and 10 from Tatum, as well as 9 assists, 23 from White. Garland with 12 and 8. And now, game 3 also goes to us. Let's go. Garland drops 33, 23 from Tatum. Garland has been playing amazing here in the playoffs. He's shooting 54% from the three-point line. Brown is shooting 70% from the field. Tatum, 46. And are we going to sweep the Pistons? No, we do not sweep them, but we don't gentlemen sweep them either. Okay, so they are pushing it here. Going to a game 6. And we lose game 6. Now it's going to game 7. Cade Cunningham has been playing really good. And perhaps I should have came up with a defensive coach game plan for him, but I will do so now. We're going to have Derek White guard and lock up Cade Cunningham. I came up with a defensive coach game plan. Let's see if we're going to be losing after a 3-0 lead, or are we going to win here in game 7? We do have home court advantage, so hopefully we get this win and don't embarrass ourselves, but we are losing. We're up by 3, 8 minutes remaining. They take the lead. It's a back and forth battle here. Let's slow down the simulation. We are thankfully starting to run away with it, and we do end up winning by 6 points. Tatum had 29, 22 from Derek White, 21 from Brown, a 20-point double-double from Darius Garland. And now we're going to be taking on Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, who have Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Arisa Shea, Jalen Johnson, and Okongwu. They no longer have Kristaps Porzingis. It looks like they lost him in free agency or traded him away. But I think we could defeat this team. Let's see what 2K thinks. Game number 1 does go to us. Tatum drops 42 points, 36 from Brown. And I don't want to make the same mistakes we made in the last round, so I'm going to come up with a defensive coach game plan and have Derek White guard Trae Young right off the bat. Alrighty, coach game plan has been set. Game number 2, they do end up beating us here. Trae Young went off. He did have 6 turnovers, but still had 39 points to get them the win. Game number 3 is a win for us. Let's go. Brown with 27, Tatum with a 26-point double-double, White with 20. Garland only had 6 points. He struggled big time in this game. We need him to play how he was playing in the first round. But Cam Boozer, how's he been doing? He's playing good. He's struggling from the three-point line, but still playing good all around. Game number 4 goes to them. They tie up the series, sadly. Trae Young is going off right now. Brown had 31, and of course, the game we need Tatum the most, he struggles, which sucks, obviously. Whenever the most important game, for some reason in 2K, the best player always ends up struggling. I've seen Curry struggle over and over again, but hopefully Tatum can pick it up because we know what type of player Tatum is, and he does by the looks of it. Yes, he does. 37 points from Tatum. That's Tatum we all know and love. 37, 8, and 7. 29 from Garland, 23 from White, and 16 from Brown. And hopefully we win here in game 6, which we do to advance to the conference finals. And there we go. It looks like Tatum heard me. 45 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. 38 and 10 from Brown, 18 from Garland, who only played 28 minutes. I'm not sure why, but at least we got the win. And just like that, we're in the conference finals taking on the New York Knicks. But let's go ahead and see how our team did here in the second round. Tatum led the way in the 6 games we played, 31 points, 27 from Brown and the rest of the guys. But now we're taking on the number 1 seed, who have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns. Their bench is pretty much the same other than Brendan Clark. So the number 1 seed versus the number 2 seed, who had the same exact win-loss record in the season. Game 1 goes to us luckily, 41 from Brown, 23 from Tatum, 21 from Garland. Game number 2 also goes to us. Let's go. There we go. Tatum 35, 16, and 8. Holy. 28 from Jaylen Brown. Game 3 also goes to us, so we're up 3-0 against the number 1 seed. Brown 26, Tatum with a 26-point double-double, a 15 double-double from Robinson. And are we going to sweep the number 1 seed? Yes, we do. So the number 1 seed ended up being the easiest round for us somehow. Tatum with a 37-point double-double, Jaylen Brown with 33, Garland with a 24-point double-double to make the NBA Finals. Cooper Flag wins Western Conference Finals MVP, Jayson Tatum, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Here are the player stats for the conference finals. So it looks like Jaylen Brown was leading the way in points per game, 32 from him, and then a 30-point double-double from Tatum. But now we're taking on the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks, and I believe they won more games than we did in the regular season. They have Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively II. I do want Derek White guarding Kyrie Irving, so again, I'm going to come up with a coach game plan before we start simulating. Defensive coach game plan has been set. We're ready. Game number 1 goes to the Boston Celtics. Let's go. Tatum had 30 points, 22 from Brown, and 20 from Garland. Game number 2 goes to the Mavericks. Sadly, Kyrie Irving played too good for us in that game. Garland had 32. Tatum struggled offensively, and so did Brown. Well, they actually shot the ball pretty well, but they didn't shoot the ball as much as I would hope for them to. Game number 3 goes to us. Let's go. Tatum with 27, Garland 23, and Brown with 22. We are up 3-1. Let's go. Tatum 33, 9 rebounds, 27 from Brown, 22 from Garland. And are we going to gentlemen sweep the Mavericks to win another the second championship for Jayson Tatum and Brown? And that's what we do. Jayson Tatum wins Finals MVP, averaging 27.5 points, 6.5 boards, 4 assists, 1.5 steal, and half a block. We are going to run it back one more season and see if we can win back-to-back championships for Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and the rest of the team, but hopefully we do. So we played a total of 22 points here in the playoffs. Here are the player stats for the whole playoffs. Tatum led the way with 31 points per game. Brown was amazing, and so was Garland. In the NBA Finals, Tatum led the way, 27.5 points per game, and these are the stats for the rest of the players. So again, we are going to be running it back one last season to see if we can go on to win back-to-back championships. I'll see you guys at free agency or the NBA draft if we have any picks. So we don't have any picks in the 2027 NBA draft, but we do need to re-sign our head coach Joe Mazzulla, which is going to be huge. And luckily no one's offering him a contract, so that means we should be able to bring him back pretty easily. Let's go ahead and offer him a pretty big contract so he doesn't decline it. And he'll accept, so we get to keep Joe Mazzulla as our head coach for now. CFO, let's go ahead and fill this out. I'll see you guys either at free agency. Yeah, free agency, since we don't have any picks in the draft. Team player options. I will pick up the team option on Hugo Gonzalez. I do believe Hugo Gonzalez will progress this offseason. I believe last offseason he went up by 4 in overall. But also, well, we'll let this dude walk. He didn't go up in overall at all. So let's see if we have any qualifying offers. We don't, which means we don't need to re-sign any players on this team, which is absolutely amazing. We do have around $5-6 million we can spend in free agency. Let me see what type of signings we should make. There's some pretty good players we can get for real cheap here in free agency, one of them being Josh Hart, who only wants $4 million a year, and of course we're going to go ahead and offer him that contract. He could be the backup power forward behind Jayson Tatum, and we're also going to offer Dillon Brooks a contract. I'm not the biggest fan of Dillon Brooks, but he is a really good defender, and he's ended up becoming a pretty good three-point shooter after the 24-25 season. So he could be the backup small forward now instead of Matisse Thybulle, who's a free agent. And luckily enough for us, both players will be accepting the contract. We get Josh Hart on a 2-year, $9 million contract, and Dillon Brooks on the 1-year minimum. I don't know if we're going to be making any trades this offseason. We could possibly try making a big trade to make this video a little bit more interesting, since we already won a championship. We could try making the video a bit funner by possibly trading Garland for a better point guard, or trading someone like Jaylen Brown, which would be insane. So I'm going to look around and see if there's any trades we can pull off to make this video a little bit more interesting. I'll show you guys what that trade will be looking like. Okay, this is a trade that will definitely make this video a lot funner. Trading away Darius Garland for Amen Thompson, who the Houston Rockets for some reason are down to send us. And just to make this trade happen, we gotta send them Darius Garland and a first-round pick, and of course, we're gonna be pulling off this trade to get Amen Thompson. Garland was amazing for us, but of course, this trade makes the video funner, so that's why we're pulling this trade off. And now we have ourselves Amen Thompson as a third option. We can either move his position to point guard and have him run the point guard, or we can move Derek White to point guard, and I think that's what we're gonna do since Derek White does not go down in overall. Now we have ourselves an insane starting five with Thompson, who's only 24 years old, so I do believe he's going to progress even more this offseason, maybe making him a 90 overall. And I don't know if we're going to be making any more moves. Let me see if there's any trades we can make. But another thing about Amen Thompson, he can't shoot the three-point shot, but luckily we have ourselves Cam Boozer, who's going to be starting for us, and he can space the floor, and that way having Thompson on the floor won't be so crowded. Here we are for the last and final season with our new 9-man rotation. The starting lineup is completely different from the last season. We have Derek White at the point guard position, and then we have Amen Thompson, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, and Cam Boozer. Cam Boozer progressed all the way up to 85 overall, so having a floor spacing big man is going to be huge, especially beside Amen Thompson, who progressed to a 91 overall. And then our bench unit's going to be Peyton Pritchard, Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, and Dillon Brooks. We can always switch Dillon Brooks out for Malik Beasley if we need to. But as of right now, that's what the 9-man rotation is going to be. Game 1 against the San Antonio Spurs, we do end up winning by 14 points. Tatum dropped 39, 30 from Derek White, 23 from Amen Thompson, and 19 from Brown. Let's simulate game 2 against against the Lakers and see how that goes. And that's also a win for us by 14 points, and Thompson led the way this time with 29 points, 21 from White and Tatum, and 20 from Jaylen Brown. Now I'm going to start simulating. I'll see you guys either at the trade deadline if there's any trades to be made, if not at the end of this season. And I simulated the first few weeks, and so far we haven't lost a single game, which is insane. As you guys can see, we have 16 wins and 0 losses up until November 21st. Let's see how long we can go without losing a single game. This is absolutely insane. We still haven't lost, and we lose our first game, sadly, to the Orlando Magic. It looks like we're going to be unstoppable this season. Getting Amen Thompson was huge. He's averaging 21.5 points per game. And Tatum's averaging 29 points per game. Brown's averaging 20. How's Derek White doing in that point guard position? He's playing amazing. 45% from the three-point line. Cam Boozer shooting 40% from the three-point line. Perfect starting center, just like we needed. I don't think we're going to be making any trades this season, of course, with how it's going so far, so I'll see you guys at the end. We also end up winning the NBA Cup, with Jayson Tatum winning NBA Cup MVP. We only scored a total of 90 points, and the other team only scored 85, which is insane. Thompson had 24, 14, and 4. Tatum kind of struggled. Well, he didn't struggle, he just didn't shoot as many buckets. Derek White with 10 points, and we held the other team to 85 points, and they have themselves Anthony Edwards. We played amazing defense, 4 of 13 from the field. At the end of this season, Wemby wins another MVP. Sadly, it wasn't Jayson Tatum. He definitely could have won MVP, and I'll show you guys his stats here in a second. Tyron Stocks wins Rookie of the Year. Josh Giddey 6-man. Wemby Defensive Player. Ben wins Most Improved. Wemby Clutch Player as well. Wemby wins 3 awards out of the 6 awards there are, which is insane. Joe Mazzulla wins Coach of the Year. We won 73 games and lost only 9. We also win Executive of the Year. And for some reason, we don't get Jayson Tatum on All NBA First Team or All NBA Second Team, which is insane. He's all the way on All NBA Third Team, even though he was averaging 29, 7, and 5 on crazy good efficiency. 56% from the field, 42 from the 3-point line, but it is what it is. We also get Amen Thompson on All Defensive First Team, which is absolutely amazing. We don't have anyone on All Rookie Team this time since we don't have rookies on our team, but we were the #1 seed. We won a total of 73 games, losing only 9. The second seed were the Atlanta Hawks, and they were 53 wins, so we won 20 more games than the second seed, which is insane. Let me show you guys the player stats before we get into the playoffs. And the leading scorer on our team was Jayson Tatum, averaging 29 points per game, 22 from Jaylen Brown, 19.5 from Amen Thompson, who was absolutely amazing for us. 19.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1.5 blocks, 64% from the field. Amazing season by Amen Thompson. Derek White in that point guard position was amazing as well. 15 points per game, 5 assists, 1.5 steal, 1 block, shooting 43% from the 3-point line. Cam Boozer at the starting center position, best center we could have asked for. 13 points, 8 boards. He's also a really good playmaker. 4 assists per game, 1 steal, 1.5 block, and his efficiency was amazing. Pritchard was started off the season struggling, but he ended up picking it back up. Josh Hart was really good for us in the limited minutes he was playing, 20 minutes. He was a good playmaker, good defender off the bench, and so were the rest of the players. But now we're taking on the Detroit Pistons once again in the first round, just like last playoffs. They still have Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson. Both the Thompson twins will be going head-to-head in the first round. They have Ron Holland, Jalen Duren, and this is their bench unit. They did upgrade their bench from last year, which is Andrew Wiggins, Nick Smith Jr., and Scottie Pippen Jr. But let me fix up the player minutes and let's get right into the playoffs. The player minutes have been fixed. We're ready for the first round. This is what the 9-man rotation will be looking like. Let's see if we can win a back-to-back championship. Game number 1 goes to us. Tatum drops 42 points in the opening night of the playoffs. 20 from Brown, and the rest of the team was amazing as well. Game number 2, we do end up falling short here. Cade Cunningham did defeat us here. 30 points per game he's averaging so far. Game number 3 is a win for us. Let's go. Cade has been really good, but luckily we have a better team in my opinion. 39 points from Tatum, 30 from Jaylen Brown. And they do end up tying up the series here. Cade Cunningham dropped 44 points. So what I'm going to do is have Amen Thompson guard Cade Cunningham. I do believe Amen Thompson is basically the same height as Cade Cunningham, whereas Derek White is a lot smaller than Cade Cunningham is. Coach game plan has been set. We're ready for game number 5. Let's see what happens here. We do have home court advantage, and so far we start off really strong defensively and offensively. We outscore them by 50 points. Holy. Amen Thompson dropped 35 points, 33 from Derek White, 22 from Tatum, 22 from Brown, and 12 from Pritchard, and our defense was amazing. Cunningham did play good, so did Nick Smith Jr., but we did hold Jaden Ivey to 6 of 16 shooting, Jalen Duren to 4 of 9, and yeah, we held them to 102 points. Hopefully we can end up defeating them here in game number 6. We don't have a home court advantage, but we do start off with a lead, but they are pushing back and we end up outscoring them by 4 points to advance to the second round. Brown dropped 29, Tatum had 28, 16 from Dillon Brooks in only 13 minutes. Whoa. Derek White with 15, and how was our defense? So Cade Cunningham was honestly unstoppable here in the first round, but luckily we were able to slow down the rest of his team to get this win. Now we're in the second round, but let me show you guys the player stats for the first round. 33.5 from Tatum, 25 from Jaylen Brown, 20 from Amen Thompson. And now we're taking on the Toronto Raptors, who have Emmanuel Quickley, Grady Dick, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, and Jakob Poeltl. They didn't make any changes to their starting lineup, but their bench is looking pretty stacked. All their bench players are 80 overall or higher. Let's see what happens here in the second round. I still think we're the better team. They were the number 5 seed. Let's see. Game number 1, we do end up falling short here. Ingram and Quickley, 27-28 points. Game number 2 is also a loss for us. Okay, what's going on here? Looks like we need to come up with a defensive coach game plan because the 5th seed has went up 2-0 against us. Alrighty, we're ready here for game number 3. We lost both games at home, so that means the Toronto Raptors will have the next 2 home court advantages, which hopefully we can win both of those games. And so far we are winning this game. We're off to a really good start, and there we go. Our defensive coach game plan has clearly worked. We held them to 98 points. Brown scored 32, Tatum with 23, Derek White with 16. And how was our defense? I mean, their main player shot the ball pretty well. It just looks like they didn't shoot the ball enough. And hopefully we can win this next game to tie up the series. And once again, we don't have home court advantage for this game either, but hopefully we still win. And so far we do have the lead by quite a bit, and luckily we end up winning both games to tie up the series, with Brown leading the way once again, 27, Tatum with 25, Derek White with 23, Thompson with 14. And how was our defense? On Ingram, it was really good. We held him to 6 of 16 shooting, and I believe Quickley is the highest point per game player on their team, so he's a player we really need to stop defensively. But time for game 5, and luckily once again we have home court advantage. Let's see what happens here, and so far we do have the lead, and just like that we're up 3-2. We were down 2-0 and it was looking really scary, but luckily our defensive coach game plan came in clutch. And Amen Thompson came in clutch, scoring 40 points here in game 5 and 38 points from Tatum. Our defense, 4 of 14 for Scotty Barnes, 4 of 10 for Max Strus. Amazing. Where was Quickley? I want to see how we did on him. Okay, he still shot 50% from the field. But let's see if we can win here in game 6. The Raptors have home court advantage, and so far they do have the lead, but we do end up winning by 3 points. Brown had 27, Tatum 24, Mitchell Robinson with 15, and Thompson with 14 and 11. And we're once again back in the conference finals. This time we're going to be taking on the Chicago Bulls, who have DeJounte Murray, Kobe White, RJ Barrett, Michael Porter Jr., and Ben Simmons. Josh Giddey coming off the bench. This is a pretty stacked team, to be honest. They were the number 3 seed. They defeated the Orlando Magic and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game number 1, we do end up losing. We also lose game 2, same thing with the Toronto Raptors, and it looks like we're going to have to come up with a defensive coach game plan for this team as well. And I don't know how they defeated us, because they barely have good defensive players in my opinion, other than DeJounte Murray, maybe Ben Simmons, a little bit of RJ Barrett, but yeah, we got to come up with a defensive coach game plan. I'm not sure how this team's up 2-0 against us, but hopefully this defensive coach game plan works like it did against the Toronto Raptors. We lost both home court advantage games, which means the Bulls will have the next 2 home court advantages. And so far we do have the lead, but it's still a really close game, and we do end up winning by 9 points. Tatum dropped 32 points, and there we go. I did hire Derek White's shot tendencies, and luckily that worked in our favor, where he scored 23 points, Thompson 23, and Brown struggled offensively, but hopefully he can pick that up. And how was our defense? We did hold Josh Giddey to 6 of 15 shooting. But the rest of the team, well, we held Michael Porter Jr. to 5 of 12 as well, so our defense was pretty good in that game. But now we also need to win game 4 to tie up the series, which hopefully we can do. Let's see what happens. We do end up outscoring them the first and second quarter, but it is tie game here. They're up by 1, 6 minutes remaining. Let's see what happens. This is a really close battle here. But luckily we are starting to run away with it in the fourth quarter as long as we can keep this up, which we do. Luckily we outscore them and win by 12 points. Brown had 27, Tatum 27, Cam Boozer 22. He's been playing really good for us. 12, 18 and 12 for Amin Thompson. Pritchard 14. How was our defense? Not the best. I mean, we did allow them to score 130 points. But hopefully we can go up here 3-2. We will finally have a home court advantage back on our side. And so far they are winning, but we do take the lead, and it looks like we end up winning this game to go up 3-2. Thompson had 29 and 10, White had 22, Tatum 19, Brown with 17. Luckily we end up winning here. Our defense was better. We did hold DeJounte Murray to 6 of 15 shooting. Amin Thompson's been playing really well for us. Jayson Tatum's been doing good. Let's see if we can win this game to advance to the NBA Finals. And so far they do have the lead, but we do end up taking it back and advancing to the NBA Finals. Jaylen Brown with 27, Tatum with 25, Boozer with 19, Pritchard with 13, 10 from Derek White, 9 from Amin Thompson. Our defense, 6 of 14 for Giddey, 5 of 16 for Murray. Wemby wins Western Conference Finals MVP. Amin Thompson wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It was not Tatum, even though Tatum was averaging more points per game, but Thompson still played really good two-way basketball. And now we're taking on the defending MVP, Victor Wembanyama, and also the number 1 seeded team in the Western Conference, San Antonio Spurs. They have De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, who's nearly a 90 overall, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and of course Victor Wembanyama. They have an 87 overall, Stephon Castle coming off their bench, Carter Bryant, Ayton, and Deron Holmes II. So this team is deep. This is definitely going to be a huge challenge for us here. But hopefully we can win this game. Let me adjust the player minutes a bit before we start advancing here, simulating here in the playoffs, in the finals. For now, we will keep Cam Boozer in our starting lineup, but we may need to switch him for Mitchell Robinson, since Mitchell Robinson is a 7-foot defensive player, and Wemby is obviously 7'3". But let's see what happens here. Game number 1 does go to us. Tatum drops 38 points, 25 from Brown, 20 from White, and 20 from Thompson. Cam Boozer was amazing here with 17, 9, 6, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. He made Wemby turn over the ball 5 times, but Wemby still played good offensively. Game number 2 also goes to us, with Brown scoring 23, Thompson with a 21-point double-double, Tatum with 21, Cam Boozer with 18, 12, 4, and 2 blocks. How did Wemby do? Still amazing. Game number 3, just like that, we're up 3-0 against the best team in the West, and somehow they're the easiest team we faced so far. By the way we're playing so far, which is kind of insane because the Raptors were up 2-0, so were the Bulls, but we're up 3-0 against the Spurs, and Wemby still scored 43, 16, and 5, but luckily we ended up defeating them. Brown had 29, Tatum 29, 22 from Thompson, 20 from Derek White, Mitchell Robinson with 12, Cam Boozer had 3 blocks. And are we going to be sweeping the first seeded San Antonio Spurs, who have the defending MVP? No, we are not. Wemby drops 37 points on our head. Brown had 29, Tatum 24, but we still fell short. But we do gentlemen sweep them to win a back-to-back championship, with Jayson Tatum winning his second finals MVP, averaging 29 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, shooting 60, 50, 80. Amazing. Let's go ahead and look at the player stats before I end out this video. We played a total of 23 games. In those 23 games, Tatum was averaging 28.5 points per game, 24 from Jaylen Brown, 20 from Thompson, 16, 17 from Derek White, 12 from Boozer, and 10 from Pritchard. And we played a total of 5 games in the NBA Finals. Tatum led the way with 29, 25 from Brown, 21 from Derek White, 20 from Thompson, 12 from Boozer, and the rest of the team. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new for more 2K26 rebuilds, and make sure to watch my last video here on the screen. Also comment down below what rebuild you guys would like to see next. Until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.